Once there was a monk named Jiro. He had joined the monastery with a burning desire to achieve enlightenment, inspired by tales of legendary masters and their miraculous realizations. He was diligent in his practices, rigorous in his studies. Yet despite his unwavering dedication, Jiro felt he was making little progress. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the mountains, casting long shadows across the temple grounds, Jiro approached Master Hakuin. Bowing deeply, he voiced his frustrations. "Master, I have devoted myself entirely to the practice. I meditate for hours, I study the sutras diligently, and I follow all your teachings. Yet enlightenment eludes me. What am I doing wrong?" Master Hakuin gazed at Jiro with eyes that seemed to pierce through the very fabric of his soul. After a long silence, he spoke. "Come with me, Jiro." The master led Jiro to a secluded part of the monastery grounds, where a small pond reflected the moonlight like a mirror. He pointed to the water and said, "Look into the pond. What do you see?" Jiro stared into the pond, his reflection rippling gently in the water. "I see myself, Master." Master Hakuin nodded. "Now, try to catch the moon." Puzzled, Jiro reached out to touch the moon's reflection. His hand disturbed the surface, causing the moon to shatter into countless fragments. He pulled back, and the reflection gradually reformed. Again, he tried to grasp it, only to scatter the moon once more. "Master, it's impossible," Jiro finally admitted, frustration seeping into his voice. Hakuin smiled faintly. "Indeed it is. The moon you see is but a reflection, an illusion. If you focus solely on catching it, you will only create ripples and disturb the water, never attaining your goal. Enlightenment is much the same. If you focus too much on achieving it, you will disturb the tranquility necessary to realize it." Jiro listened, but the lesson seemed abstract, and his heart was still restless. Sensing this, Hakuin continued, "There is a story I wish to share with you. It may help you understand." Master and disciple sat by the pond as Hakuin began his tale. Many years ago, in a far-off land, there was a young archer named Taro. He was known throughout the kingdom for his unparalleled skill with a bow. Taro had a single goal: to be the greatest archer the world had ever seen. He trained day and night, focusing all his energy on perfecting his technique and aiming for ever greater accuracy. One day, Taro heard of an old master who lived atop a distant mountain, renowned for his wisdom in the art of archery. Determined to learn from the best, Taro journeyed for many days and nights until he reached the master's humble abode. The old master welcomed Taro and agreed to teach him, but on one condition: Taro must stay with him for a year, performing all tasks the master required, without once touching his bow. Taro was dismayed. "But master," he protested, "how can I become the greatest archer if I do not practice?" The master replied, "Patience, young one. Trust the process and you will understand." Reluctantly, Taro agreed. For a year, he fetched water, chopped wood, cooked meals, and tended the garden. He watched the master meditate, practice calligraphy, and walk in the forest. Not once did the master mention archery. As the year came to an end, Taro felt despondent. He approached the master and said, "Master, the year is over, and I have not learned a single thing about archery." The master smiled gently and handed Taro a bow and arrow. "Come with me," he said. They walked to a clearing where a single target was set up. The master instructed Taro to shoot. Taro, feeling rusty and unsure, took aim and released the arrow. To his astonishment, it hit the bullseye with perfect precision. "How is this possible?" Taro exclaimed. The master explained, "During this past year, you have learned to quiet your mind, to be present in each moment, and to let go of your obsessive desire to be the best. In doing so, you have become attuned to the deeper aspects of archery, which go beyond physical skill. When your mind is calm and free from distraction, your true potential is revealed. Focus not on the result, but on the practice itself, and the results will come naturally." Taro bowed deeply, understanding at last the wisdom of his master's teachings. He returned to his village, no longer driven by the need to be the greatest, but by the joy of the practice itself. And in time, he became a legend, not for his desire to be the best, but for his mastery born of inner peace and balance. Master Hakuin fell silent, letting the story's lessons seep into Jiro's mind. The young monk sat quietly, reflecting on the tale. Gradually, he began to see the parallels to his own journey. His relentless focus on achieving enlightenment had created ripples in his mind, disturbing the very peace necessary for realization. "Thank you, Master," Jiro said softly. "I understand now. I will focus on my practice, not the result." Master Hakuin smiled, a glint of approval in his eyes. "Remember, Jiro, enlightenment is not a destination, but a way of being. Let go of your striving, and you will find that it is already within you." From that day on, Jiro approached his practice with a newfound sense of calm. He meditated not to achieve enlightenment, but to simply be present. He studied the sutras not to gain knowledge, but to connect with their essence. And as he let go of his obsession with results, a profound peace began to settle in his heart. In time, Jiro's understanding deepened, and he became known for his serene presence and wisdom. He never spoke of achieving enlightenment, for he knew that the journey itself was the true reward. And in the quiet moments by the pond, when the moonlight danced on the still water, he often reflected on Master Hakuin's teachings, grateful for the lesson that had transformed his path.